Hey, good morning. It's in the 50s here, Gustav. It's cold, man. Oh, minus 50. You have my sympathies. That's not a place to be. Woo. Anyway, head south. All right. So, you know what? We had Boeing exploding higher. Apple, I wouldn't call that exploding, but BABA is up. AMD up, what, almost 2. I mean, Boeing almost 25. Wow. Look, NVIDIA coming off the mat up 3. I'm looking at Square almost 3. Microsoft, whatever, 1.7. Tesla, maybe Tesla pops up a little bit today. So looking at all of these stocks that are popping like that, I'm like thinking to myself, what's going on with the market? I mean, it's up, but so you look at the numbers and see the Dow is up 249 points, the futures here. So here are the spiders, and it's not even gapping over the trading range. Like, come on, guys, like, what's going on here? I mean, this is less than impressive, to say the least. So can it get out of this trading range? So we've got a trading range now where we've had a couple of little retests or bottoming tail bars, not necessarily swing pivots, but we've got a couple of attempts to go up. We've got a couple of attempts to go down. They haven't been able to follow through. So we have something of a range here going on in the S&Ps. And based on these positive earnings, they cannot break out here. And the assumption is initially that it's going to go down. Now we've got this Fed, whatever they're going to say here today. That could be a market mover one way or the other. However, so far, market-wise, we're just stuck in a relatively tight range, and it's up into resistance. We covered the weekly time frame. That's a sell setup that hasn't triggered yet. So based on the higher time frame, the assumption is it goes lower. However, it's not happening yet. So as I mentioned yesterday, from this time frame, you stand aside, and so we'll see. That Apple play was a call spread, I remember, from yesterday. I guess as long as it's below the strike, it's okay. Sure is. I'm reading comments here. Okay. Long call spread, so a debit spread. Qs, same story here. Trading range. They were weaker yesterday. Where are they trading here? They're not even above the red bar. I mean, you'd think they would be trading up here above 164. Now, there's a stall point, right? That area, but I would have thought anyway that it would have been able to gap above, but there isn't enough, even with these stocks that are gapping higher this morning. So still within the trading range, highs, lows. We wait and see as far as the market goes. Russell, same story. No real interest one way or the other. Trading range. We'll see if they can get going here. And 248, top of the trading range. Even Boeing up as much as it is. Apple up. It's not breaking out of this range. to get above 248. Well, it's right there, 248.50-ish. So a bullish start. We'll see what happens. Right? Fed decision day. We shall see what happens with that. I don't think, well, I don't know, is that there's any real expectation that the Fed is going to do much of anything other than talk. So we'll see what happens at 2 o'clock or so. And you can see the S&Ps, they're trading here. It's like a yawn, big deal. And it is getting tighter. And we've got this whole day to develop this bar, but there's the wide range bar ending, and so far it's sideways, which can be interpreted as being bullish. It's not going down. Red bar is being ignored. And we, as covered yesterday, we still don't have the option traders based on our moving average of sentiment having pushed up above these bands here. So I guess maybe if today stays positive and can move up, that we may see that happen, and then the 200 gets tested. We'll see what happens there. Same thing with the Qs, sideways, haven't been able to get above resistance. So typically on these days where you get these earnings reports that are so positive, markets gap up and take out some reference point of resistance. Looking at the Qs here, they're barely taking out yesterday's high. So, the diamonds are right up there. They look like, so Boeing being up 20 some odd points, 25 points is helping it, of course. So the 200-day moving average is lurking right up above, right here. And as I wrote in Monday's commentary, and I think I mentioned here in the room, if we were to get a close above here, there's going to be a lot of bullish comments in the media about clearing the 200-day moving average. And then we always compare, well, did the S&P clear some resistance? Did the Qs, did the Russell, did the transports, or is this just the Dow that's making some kind of a play here? Can still be paused and refresh on the daily 20. Well, yeah, it could, Tony, but we've had this nice run, and the problem now, if this was in an uptrend or a sideways consolidation within the weekly time frame, this would be, wow, we got to be a buyer here. Now, there is a void because of the way this came down so hard. And you can see here, you can see the void here. So could it go up? Absolutely, it could. And we do not have our sentiment giving us a signal yet. So yes, it is a possibility that it could run up, but the trend is down here. And so that is the concern. And when the trend is down in the higher time frame and you've got a base on the lower time frame, historically your risk is a breakout failure that gets slammed. So we're aware of that. And again, one of the comments I wrote in Monday's advisory letter was, look, this could go up, but you better be disciplined and you better have a plan on how you're going to manage it because of this. If you're not at a minimum trailing prior day's lows and be decisive about what you're doing, this could start moving up and just come slamming back down. And we don't want anybody getting caught in deer in the headlights syndrome. And then all of a sudden, there's some terrible things happening. And it's like, well, how do I get out? What do I do? I didn't, now I've got this big loss, yada, yada. And, because you didn't plan it, you just got caught up in, everything is so bullish. So that's the thinking behind the hesitancy about the move higher here. Can Boeing move above all-time highs today? Get above or close to 400? It's only $10 away. I suppose so, Michael. We always look at things as, everything's possible within some type of logical perspective, and it's at 390 to go up another $10. That seems possible, sure. And I'm assuming that's the all-time high. Yeah, it is. Bonds, took a look at, they're just chopping around here. I've got alerts setting above and below to keep an eye on that. Oil, acting bullishly, consolidating at this resistance, these topping tails really haven't broken out yet. And we'll see if they do. I'm getting another watching alert set above and below range. And gold, and it continues to inch up here, which kind of, I don't know, I don't get it. There's no inflation, yield curve narrowing, demand for gold. I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. It's going up, and it looks like it can go higher. It consolidated at this resistance area there, and it's got room to keep going up now. So as it broke out of this 1, 2, 3 continuation pattern here, you want to see it hold above that breakout bar. Could it be government debts? I don't know. I suppose, Frank. I don't see why run to gold because of government debt. Government debt has been exploding for years. So, sometimes gold just moves up on speculation. Trump said, "Oh, what's the Fed doing? They're making a mistake to be raising interest rates." So, maybe that becomes a concern that, that's inflationary because they're not going to be on top of, just that. But we really don't see any signs of inflation. It's not like interest rates are, continuing to move higher. And what else here? Some thought maybe the euro was going to get moving at some point. It started. If you're focusing on that slam down, that's just a big mess. If you're in the currencies here, yen looked like could get going. Doesn't look like much of anything. Canada, maybe. I don't think currencies have been the place to be. The pound, that's been doing well. And so we got all these gaps. Now we're going to see how they play out here in the first few minutes. I saw news that I mentioned in the room yesterday was this CZR, Caesars, that's being added to the mid cap, and it kind of popped up here and came back in, but maybe this can get above this range. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Yeah. So that's it for me. Dan, all yours.
All right. Good morning, folks. Yeah, I had the same thought Greg did when I looked at the gap of the market this morning when I woke up. I'm like, oh, man, it's going to be gapping over those prior highs and make its run, exhaustion run to the next level that we've been talking about. And it's not. This prior high is what, 266. We have a call spread, or 267 rather. So we have a call spread on the spiders, Qs, but it's still a bullish gap, and red bars not going down. We've got support. Let's look at the rest of our opens. Tandem, we still have this covered call. BMY, we're short stock and we tighten the stop. Dollar Tree, we're waiting to go long over last week's high. Disney, we're short stock, and that's relative weakness in a strong market, showing that it's down 37 cents. In a weak market, in a strong market. It's a triangle here. We just need it to crack. And if it cracks, it can fall to 106. MDB, we have a Condor. NBEV, pot stock, we're long. Michael Jackson, we have a put spread and long the ETF. NTNX, we're watching. And now the yesterday had a weak day, so it looks like that trade's going to be invalid. WWE, it's bullish consolidation, needs to go sideways, and then that's a great breakout play. Costco, we have a half lot left of a call spread, and that's it. Let's look at all these gappers. Microsoft's after the bell today, but I think it announced guidance, so maybe for a day trade. Let's see, 104. That's gapping over yesterday's high, or close to it, but you got a wall of resistance there. So I have no interest in that. And like you all said, we have the FOMC today. And I think it's going to be all about gibberish of, you know, Powell saying he's going to be patient again. He learned his lesson on the last Fed day when he was just there blabbing and the market just tanked. Look at old Cliff Clavin. Now that's a bullish tier 1 setup. So LaDon, step 1, bullish gap. Step 2, bullish pre-market. Step 3, we're going to wait 5, 10, 15 minutes and see if we can get a setup. So there, put that in a window. That's a nice one. Let's keep going. AMD, yeah, you know, it acted bearish. I had somebody email me yesterday saying they wanted to hold it long term, and they asked, should I buy a put? And I said, that's not my style, because buying a put into earnings is very expensive. I'd rather get out of the position, or I told them just sell a call and lower your cost basis that way. I'm not sure what he did, but he's getting the, you know, pop to the upside. Tro 2160, 9165, so that's a bearish gap. Let's see what it does. Hey, Gustav. Hey, Gustav, I know that don't you have an interest in that long term? Coup, I can't tell where it's gapping. There's no pattern. So trader, again, you got to tell me what you're thinking, or else I can't help you. Target, if it's gapping to 72.40, I kind of can't tell right now, then it looks higher. But the weekly is extended at resistance. CTXS 101.85. You might get a day trade out of it, but I don't like the daily. Maybe a put spread too. 30-minute high. SWK, no pattern to me at all. Oh, Gustav, so you were in it? So you didn't sell a call. Did you do anything, or just close your eyes and hold into earnings? Which, for a long-term trade, there's nothing wrong with that. AT&T, but I just like bringing in huge premium in exchange for not being a pig, you know, in case it gaps down or goes sideways. Or gaps up, it doesn't matter, up, down, or sideways. The premium is yours to keep. End of story. All right, this is a bearish gap. I like this one. Putting that in the window. And that was earnings. McDonald's, it's a bullish, you know, move here pre-market, and it's holding 182.49. But I don't like the way it came down there. Maybe 30-minute high trade, we'll see. Gulf Delta, look at Gulf Delta, started strong. And then kaplunk. Wow. 166. Ooh, that is a bearish gap. Wow, it's not tier one because it's almost getting to be too big. But I'm going to put that in a window. Wow. BABA 161.5. Bullish gap. That's a 30-minute high setup. Wow, there's a lot of good gappers today. We got 5 minutes to go. Boeing. This was one, remember we had a discussion before I got on the airplane yesterday morning that I said if somebody wanted to speculate on this, the chart, I agreed with a bullish bias in the chart. You know, not that I can predict gaps, but if I were to hold into earnings, I would want my bias to confirm the direction of my position. 388. Yeah, I remember saying to, I think it might have been Michael or somebody, I said, yeah, if you have a bias like this is going to churn up to 380 and change, well, boom, you're getting it in one print. And there's no trade though for me now. What do you want to do with Boeing? I'm not saying you, but trader. Yeah, but no, I had a very long talk yesterday morning of saying that's bullish. Of course, I said it's a weekly resistance, but I circled this area with my mouse and I said there's 14 days of bullish consolidation. So this, it negated the significance of that prior high. That's what I said. ADP, let's see, you're at 138, another bullish gap. It's kind of slopping around like a fish out of water pre-market, but bullish gap. Putting that in a window. This is why we like earnings season. Juniper, you know, today's MT Live is going to be on reading moving averages. And look at the convergence of all three of these. So tight convergence of MAs is contracting volatility, suggesting bigger volatility. And on earnings, this bigger volatility is to the downside. Look at this. I gotta go all the way to the monthly chart to see where this thing's opening. That is ugly. Ugly, ugly. Top 30-65. The gap's too big for me, Gustav. That's a nasty gap also. Let me put him in over here. Yeah, we don't like excessive gaps because the risk to reward of your target versus your stop is out of whack. 188 bearish gap. It's a bio, has to settle down. ILM 275-ish, but it's down. This one could be a gap and snap. So that one is a put selling candidate on earnings. Just down a bunch of red bars and gapping to support. I'm going to put that in a window.